Hello, my friends, and welcome to At Home with Gigi. I'm so happy to have you here today. Guess what time of the month it is? It's Napkin Exchange Challenge time again, and I cannot wait to show you the DIYs that I have created with these beautiful napkins. So let's get started. For this DIY, you're going to need this beautiful napkin from a Brill, an Acorn Sign from the Dollar Tree, and some pine cones. And I'm just going to go ahead and give my Acorn Sign one coat of the Waverly chalk paint in alabaster. I just want to take a moment and tell you about today's challenge that I'm a part of again this month. And y'all, I love this challenge. This is like my 4th time doing it, I believe. And it's hosted by Sarah over at Sunflowers and DIYing. And this month her co-host is Jackie at Mama Mia DIY. And guys, I'll have everybody's channels listed down below along with the playlist. So please go and check everybody out. I received my napkins from a Brill at a Brill Martinez Crafter in the Rough. And guys, usually I do my challenge a little bit differently. I start with opening the package in a Brill. I'm so very sorry, but I lost that footage. Thank you for the amazing napkins and all the little goodies that you sent to me. I truly appreciate it. I sent my napkins to our host, Sarah at Sunflowers and DIYing. Again, I will have everybody's channel listed down below. Please go check them out and show them some love. As you can see here, I've let the acorn completely dry with the paint, and now I'm just adding a very generous layer of Mod Podge to the top, and I'm going to let that dry completely as well, because we're going to use the iron-on method. And oh my gosh, y'all, since I've been doing these challenges, I've really learned how to do this, and I just love it. It gives you such a nice, smooth, clean finish, and it's so easy to do. I just took my napkin and placed it between 2 sheets of wax paper, and I'm just pressing out any wrinkles that are in there just to give it a smoother finish on my sign. Now, I have already removed all the backings from my napkin. That is very, very important. I did not show that, but it is very important that you remove all those backings. And I'm just placing my napkin there and just evening it up, and I want to get a very clean, straight line across the top there. And I use just a tiny bit of Scotch tape on each side just to hold it in place. And as you can see, if you have to readjust, just very gently pull it up so you don't tear your napkin, and then just readjust until you get it straight. I find that if I don't do this and I need that straight line like that, whenever I put the wax paper on top, it will move my napkin around. Now I have my iron on the lowest setting possible, and I'm just smoothing out from the center until I cover the whole surface of the acorn where the napkin is attached, just to make sure I'm going to reactivate that Mod Podge. And I just kept going over it and smoothing it out as slowly and evenly as possible. I mean, you will find what works for you. Some people just hold it in different sections for a count of 5, 10 seconds, whatever. But I just find smoothing it out from the center just works the best. And see what I mean? How smooth and beautiful it looks. And I just used my little finger sander, and I just went around the edges and then just sanded off all that excess napkin. And I love the combination of this. It just gives such a wonderful clean finish. And I just went out in my yard and I gathered up some pine cones, and y'all, I have plenty of them. We have pine trees everywhere, and I'm placing them in a tin pan because I'm going to put them in the oven for 90 minutes on 200 degrees. And please make sure you check them. I check them like every 20 to 30 minutes. And I'm doing this to kill any mold and any bugs or any little thing that might be in there. And y'all, I'm not going to show it, but I did have 2 bugs that were in the bottom of the pan at the end of the 90 minutes. And I'm just going to clip off the little segments. I didn't know this, but they're called scales. I looked that up, but it's called scales. But anyway, I'm trying to clip them off, and I just went through, as you see, a variety of tools. And finally, I dug in the bottom of my tool drawer and found these little things, the blue handles. They came from the Dollar Tree. I'd never opened them. And look how it is cutting through the little segments. Oh my goodness, if you can find these this time of the year, get you a pair, 2 or 3 of them, and put them up. But it just clipped right on through these pine cones because I was struggling. And I ended up having to go outside and finish this because they were just shooting off in every direction. I'm still finding them in my craft room. But I had fun, really. Now I'm just going to use some hot glue and attach them to the top of the acorn. And I had so much fun, but it did take a while to do this because you had to just go, and a lot of times it was like finding puzzle pieces to make them match up, especially on the very ends. But it was so much fun just sitting there doing it, but it will take you a minute.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights.
I decided that I didn't want to add little pine cone scale segments, whatever you want to call those things, to the top of my stem, so I'm just going to wrap it with some twine.
Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down.
So as I'm adding in the last few pieces of the pine cone, I'm like, why in the world did I not paint the top of the acorn brown? But I do go back and fix that in just a moment, and you'll see. But first I snipped off some ends of the little pine cone segments, and I'm just going around and hot gluing them across the top there. We just had those kind of ragged, unfinished edges, and it just made it look a little more, well, finished.
I will keep on searching for my highs.
I'm just using a little tiny brush and nutmeg from Apple Barrel, and I'm just going along the edge and then just also getting kind of in between the pieces just to make sure none of that white is showing through. I just made a hanger from some jute twine and attaching that to the back, and I'm just going to cover it with a piece of ribbon just to help keep it in place. Y'all, I am so sorry. I did not realize my battery had died, but I just made a little simple bow out of some raffia and hot glued it to the top. And I didn't want anything real elaborate because I wanted the pine cone top to shine through. And I hope you love it as much as I do. Y'all gonna have to let me know what you think about using the pine cones. Y'all, this DIY is just so easy to do. I'm going to use this pumpkin from the Target dollar spot that I picked up last year. And if you don't need to paint your pumpkin, it's even easier. But I did not care for the yellow speckledy color, so I'm going to give it a couple of coats of the Waverly chalk paint and plaster. I just want to say a great big welcome to all of my new subscribers and returning subscribers. Thank you so much for coming back and supporting my channel. I'm getting closer and closer to that 1,000 mark. So if you're not already subscribed, I would like to invite you to subscribe to my channel. And then don't forget that once I hit that 1,000 mark, I'm going to do a $100 Amazon gift card giveaway. So just make sure you're subscribed so you'll be eligible for that. I'm just going to be using 1 square of this beautiful sunflower napkin, and then I'm going to use this little tiny paintbrush and some water and just go around and remove the excess napkin around the sunflower. Now you can use scissors if you prefer, but I just wanted to try this method. Now this is a 3-ply napkin. As you can see, I'm removing 1 ply now, but I'm leaving the other one on. It just makes it a little bit easier to handle. I'm just showing you that I have removed that last layer of the napkin. Just make sure that you remove that. I have had some disasters by forgetting to remove the last layer, especially in a 3-ply. And then I'm just going to add some Mod Podge to the side of my pumpkin. I'm only doing one side of it. You can do both if you prefer. You can do the whole pumpkin if you like, but I'm just going to do one side of it. When I'm using Mod Podge, I have a tendency to use a lot, but whenever I'm using a napkin, because they're so very thin, I try very hard not to put a lot or an excessive amount. And because I find, at least in my experience, I find when I do, it makes my napkin get really wet and it's more prone to tearing. So I have to try to find that sweet spot, so to speak, with my Mod Podge, because I am a messy Mod Podger. I do like to use saran wrap or cling wrap to go back over the top of my napkin and just smooth everything out. And then I'll go back over the top and add a very generous layer of Mod Podge just to seal that napkin in. I decided that I did not like the original stem that was on the pumpkin, so I just replaced it with one of those wooden pieces that you can get at the Dollar Tree, and then I'm just going to wrap some twine around it. I'm just taking one of those round pouncing sponges from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going around the edges of the pumpkin and just blending it in just a little bit. Not much paint, but just a little bit to blend in some of those edges. I decided when I was finished that my pumpkin needed just a little bit of something else, so as you can see, I did add in a little bit of Spanish moss to the top and just a little piece of the pit berry from the Dollar Tree. But I think it just come out so adorable, and it really was so easy, guys. It really was. For this DIY, we're going to use this beautiful pumpkin napkin and this glass plate from the Dollar Tree. And y'all, this is the perfect way to create some really inexpensive decor for each season without breaking the bank, and it's so pretty and it's so easy to do. But y'all, I'm going to do in this DIY everything that I told you not to do in the last DIY, because as you can see, this is just way too much Mod Podge. And I have told you that I am a sloppy Mod Podger, and it's just way too much. In my defense, it's 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm just crazy tired. And thank you, Abril, for already removing the backing to this napkin, because I don't know if I would have remembered to do so. So it's right about here that I'm realizing that, oh my goodness, this is so much Mod Podge, but I'm using the cling wrap and trying to push out as much as I can, just smooth out my napkin and trying to get as many of the wrinkles out as I possibly can. Did not get them all out by any means, but I'm okay with that. And you'll see at the end, I think it really turns out well, even with all the problems that I'm having. And like I said, this is what you don't do. I almost didn't put this DIY in, but I said, you know what, I'm going to, and let you see what you can do to try and fix your mistakes. And I'm just smoothing it out as best I can here along the edges, and I got a little too gung-ho, and I did tear it just a tiny bit, but I was able to just use my finger and just smoosh it back together. And I don't think that you can really tell that it was torn, and I did go back over it once it dried with more Mod Podge. But I did let it dry for 36 hours before I went in and cut off the excess napkin. And then I'm also going to use my finger sander just to get off that extra napkin that's left on there. When I finished sanding off all the excess napkin, I did go back around with more Mod Podge and just seal in the edge of the napkin and the plate just to make sure I didn't have any fraying. And I think it turned out really super cute, even with all the problems that I had. I think they just turned out so cute, and they just complement the rest of my hutch just so well. You guys gotta let me know what you think. I'm going to be using these 2 battery-operated candles that I've had for forever, and this gorgeous napkin from the Dollar Tree. And yes, I know everybody's using it, but I love it, and I just wanted to do a craft with this napkin. And I thought, what better way than to add a little bit of decor and reuse some items that I have around the house. And like I said, these candles have seen better days, and I've always wanted to try this technique, but I wasn't for sure if it would work on a battery-operated candle, since I don't know exactly how much wax are in these things. It's not like a real candle. It's made out of all wax. But anyway, you will see how it turns out. I think it turns out really, really well, but you're going to have to let me know. And I'm just using the same method that I used with my pumpkin, just using a tiny, tiny paintbrush and some water, and just going around and removing the excess napkin. And I'm not going to show you the whole process since we just did this a couple of minutes ago. And yes, don't forget to remove that backing on your napkin. And I'm just using my little tool here to score along where I want to cut off the excess napkin. It did overlap just a teensy bit in the back, not too much. But I'm okay with that. I can just turn the candle to the back of my hutch or wherever I'm going to place this, and it'll be just fine. I have seen this, I can't remember where I seen this, but the lady that I watched, she used a glue stick to help hold her napkin in place. And I used that trick on this candle because I was having a hard time. It just kept sliding around. So I added just a tiny bit of glue from that glue stick, and it really helped to hold this napkin in place while I was getting it lined up and also wrapping the wax paper around it. Y'all, I just took a long piece of wax paper, wrapped it around the candle very, very snugly, and I'm holding it really tight and just rotating my blow dryer all around the candle. I'm not holding it in one place for too long of a time because even though it's not a real candle, I didn't want it to melt it and leave it any lumpy, bumpy surfaces or areas on the surface. So I just kept moving it around, and y'all, this gets really hot. As you see, I had to switch to using a pot holder, so just be careful that you don't burn yourself. And you can use a heat gun if you have one. I don't. But I think this turned out gorgeous. I just love it. And I think it's just a great, inexpensive way to reuse candles that have seen better days. So let me know if you guys have tried this out. I hope y'all have enjoyed my video today, and if you're here from the playlist, a great big welcome, and thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you'll decide to become a part of my YouTube family if you've enjoyed my video today. To my returning subscribers, again, thank you so much for all your love and support. I do appreciate it. And if you're still here, drop a pumpkin down in the comments and let me know that you're still here. And Sarah, thank you so much for hosting this challenge. We truly appreciate you and all that you do for this challenge. And guys, please don't forget to check out the playlist down in the description box, and I will see you next time. Bye.
'Cause honestly, I don't have no time to waste. I'm trying to come back to you because now